back with some BlazBlue cross tag. Gonna go over the leader of Ruby. Um, this is the beginning of the tutorial, guys. So we're gonna go over the Ruby and the Ruby cast, not the whole thing, but this is one of the Ruby cast. We're gonna go over the whole thing. We're gonna go over Weiss, Yang, Blake, all of them. Today we have Ruby in her John outfit. We have the whole Ruby team in the Juniper outfit. Oh. We have Pyrrha. If you know like Ruby, then you would know what I'm talking about. But we have them all in the Juniper outfit. So today we're gonna go over Ruby. We're gonna go over her normals. We're gonna go over her skills. We're gonna go over her distortions, what she can do, how to play her, and just all that goodness. So without further ado, let's get into her normals. Her 5A. Oh, just to make sure, I'm gonna go over her the number citations. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you know it, you can search up the number fighting citations and it'll help you. But I'm gonna go over that for generalized people using stick or controller. It's gonna be easier if I just do saying like other things. So her standing 5 has pretty good range. It's not the best range, but it has pretty good range. It's longer than it actually looks, and you can poke at your opponent. Her auto combo is pretty good too. The third hit of the auto combo actually leaves your opponent pretty far for your other moves to hit sometimes. So if you come from A to B, I would rather you to do the second hit and then go into the B auto combo, just because the third hit does do a slam. But with this slam, it's also good because if I do something like this, I messed up. Hold up. Brings them back to the ground so you can recombo them. So if they're in the air and you slam them with the third hit, it's really good for recomboing and keeping the pressure on and stuff like that. Her standing A is pretty good too, as it has pretty good range, way more farther than her standing B. Her standing A. Her standing B is really good for pressure. You can throw it out and hope for the best. If you hit your first standing B, you will hit your second one, but your third one will sometimes whiff. So if I do something like that, it'll hit. So just watch out, because some of the moves will whiff depending on the range you're at. So you want to be like, you can't hit him from far range, but you want to be just a little closer just so you know your moves won't whiff. Also, her B auto combo is a automatic launcher, which is pretty good. Some characters don't have launchers in any of their A or B auto combos, so this makes Ruby really good, as she can automatically send people into launchers. Her jumping A is a pretty good air-to-air move, as it goes mostly straight. It's not bad for mix-ups, as you can see right now. It's really good for mix-ups, as it does more of a 360 hit. Doesn't hit above you as well, but it hits in front of you and a little below you. I wouldn't really call this a jumping move, because her standing B is better as a jumping move, as it actually angles way more down, and people who are crouching is going to get hit by this more than they are going to hit by that, as you can see. Her jumping B is really good for just getting in and just like harassing your opponent. This is more of the overhead, the jumping move, and this is more of the air-to-air move. Her 2A is pretty good too. It has a 3 poke like most people. It has pretty good range too, so you can just like poke at your opponent, play some footsies with them. So if you want to just like hit him with a bunch of lows into another low, something like that, it's really good for that. You can't really combo into it unless you're gonna do A, because it doesn't have not a lot of stun time. If you look at the green bar on the right, not a lot of stun time, so you can't really do much with it, but it's really good just to poke at your opponent. Her 2B is her anti-air move. It has pretty good range horizontally, vertically, you know, up, a lot of up, has a good angle up there. But it's really good just like to hit your opponent if they're jumping in, and you can get a pretty good combo after it. Something like that. It's really good just to catch your opponent. You can't automatically launch them on the ground like that, So it's more for just people jumping in. Other than that, you wouldn't be able to use it if you do something like this. You're not gonna hit. And yeah, her jumping C's are pretty far overhead, as you can almost hit half screen. This is about half screen, and it hits. So it's a really good move just to jump in, especially after people push block. So we have Blake the push block after 2 hits. You can jump in, and sometimes it'll hit, sometimes it won't. If they're in the corner, especially hit, just jump in and move. You can do it like off the bat, and then catch them, give them some good damage, something crazy like that. Her crouching C is also pretty good, has pretty good range, and it leaves off with some crazy, not crazy, but weird kind of things you can do with her skills once I get into it. But it's a really good move just to sweep, and it has pretty good range. Her jumping C is also pretty good. It's not good for jump up ins and cross ups, but it is good for a high-low mix-up, as you can cancel some of your moves into a jump, and if you time it perfectly, you can get like almost not like an instant overhead, but a really good overhead. So you do something like this, something like that. That is an overhead. Let's see if I can get him no swap crouching. So now they're set to be hit from overhead, but not by lows or mediums. So I do something like that again. That is a pretty fast overhead that a lot of people are not going to react to, especially if you just end your block string shortly and just do that, that's a really good cross up if you do it. But if you become really predictable, they'll be able to catch you. But again, this is a really good overhead, and then you can go into a grab or something. So just to open up your opponent, if you jump up and hit overhead, it doesn't go that high, so it's a pretty good overhead. It has pretty good range too from the air. If you go like up here, that little like blast concussion is the hitbox, which is not bad. It does knock up just a tiny bit, so just mind the fact that it does that. But just for like a little up down cross up, it's a really good for that. Other than that, there's no other normals. Her partner assist we're gonna go over just a quick second. So her gun blast shot is her forward P. It's pretty good. It's probably one of the better projectiles in the game, not for comboing, but more for just like throwing out, as it's really quick, and then she goes into the invincible state. So you just want to throw it out just to get that little resistance level up. You can throw it out. Her P, just normal P, is a pretty good assist, as it's one of the best. It's not that hard. It just knocks the opponent up, so no matter what you do, it's gonna straight up knock your opponent up. It's actually pretty fast too. So it's a fast move that knocks your opponent up straight up, so they won't go anywhere and leaves them right in front of you no matter what, like that. And you can get a combo right after it. Her back P is a really good anti-air move if they try to jump in. It also is a really good recomboer, something like that. It's really good for that, so you can throw Ruby in if your partner's low. If Yang was low, and then do a combo like I just did before, which is really good for that. It has pretty good range. It does leave you behind. Your partner does end up behind you, but it's still really good, just like to catch your opponent off guard. With those out of the way, let's go into her specials. We're gonna go over her gun blast after, because they have they're more unique than most characters and makes her more special. Of course, I'll go forward. My bad. Of course, I'll go forward is her projectile. Of course, I'll go forward A is her quick gunshot, which is her also assist. It's good to just to throw out. It's one of her better projectiles, as it is really fast and she doesn't have a lot of recover or startup time. It's just a quick shot. You can't really combo anything into this, but it's just good just as a normal projectile. Her cortical forward B is her, she goes into, her mounts her gun and shoots it. 2 shots does more damage, as you know, they shoot 2 shots, but it has way more startup and recovery time. This move is more good for like quick combos if you wanted to do that. as it isn't really good for just ranging your opponent out, as it has a lot of startup, and if your opponent tries to air dash in, they have a lot of time to hit you, especially like Blake, who has long range normals. This is not going to be the best for you just to throw out. You would rather be good throwing this out than this, even though this does more damage. Her final core circle forward is not a projectile, and actually is a series of attacks, which does pretty good damage, and you can combo if you're in the corner. If you hit a crouching, a 2C into a core circle forward C, you can do something like this. Something crazy like that. It's really good for that corner combos. It's also good just to do some damage, as any type of C skill leaves them without red health, and doing 20% of your health that you cannot recover is really good. It also is pretty good for block strings that does multi-hitting, and it does do a good amount of tick damage, especially if you're in Resonance Blaze. So if we do the tick damage right now, that's not bad tick damage for a normal skill, which others don't do as much. If we probably go into Resonance Blaze, it probably even do more tick damage. Let's actually see how well this does. So as you see, the tick damage is pretty good. It does about the damage it would normally do, almost, just with tick. So it's really good for that. So if you just want to throw this move out whenever, it's pretty good. It has a lot of active hitbox frames. It does have a bit of recovery, so you just need to mind the fact of that. But this is a really good move that you want to be using that's in our arsenal. Her other move that's really good is her Buzzsaw, as you saw me doing a couple times in her combos. Buzzsaw Blast is jump, core circle forward. A, B, and C all do the same thing, but they all have different properties to them. A is a shorter range Buzzsaw Blast that does some less damage, of course, because it's the A version, but it is safe on blocks. You can just throw it out. You can use it as a get-in tool, especially if they're in a corner. You can just air dash in and then core circle forward. It buzz that. So even if they block it, you are safe, and they can try to punish you. You can block, or you can try to hit them before they do. Core circle forward B is the same thing, but it does more hits, more damage, and it also is a farther move. It is not as safe. It more is a neutral, but you are a little negative. So you just have to be careful when you use it. If you're too close, they will punish you. If you're just at perfect range when you come back, then you are pretty good. Core circle forward C has about the same range as the B version, but does again more damage, and also has since the C version does not leave tick damage. This move is really good. All three of them are pretty good after a combo something like that, because you can just bring them back to the ground, and you've seen when I call this Sissing, you can get a recombo after that and do another one if you wanted to. This move is really good just to jump in, as it has a lot of active hit. It's really active all the way through, so if someone tries to jump you, or even a Gordo, if he does a spinny scythe move, it's gonna crash every single time you hit. So you can just jump in, and you probably be 90% of the time safe, especially if you use the light version or the A version, just because it's not plus, but it's safe on block, and you're also just always active hitbox everywhere on it. Now we're going to go over to her Gunsaw Blast, or everyone calls it her Teleport. It has 3 different variations. None of them use meter, as the other core circle forward C moves do. It is core circle forward, core circle back, core circle forward back, core circle back B is her forward motion, and core circle back C is her air version. If you do core circle back C in the air, it goes down. All the other ones stay the same though. This is more of a teleport. You can use very different variations and various reasons to use them. I like to use it to get in if someone's ranging me out. You have a little invincibility in between each teleport, so I like to do something like this. You don't even have to do a direction with it. After you do the first one, you can just hit the button, and you'll be able to do the same thing. And I'll cross them up, which is really good, because you can go through your opponent with this. You can do some type of block string and then go through your opponent. You could also hit him off, because it does have a hitbox, which leaves me with the weird property when you do the low C. I'll experiment with Ruby, and if you do low C, corner or not, you can get a weird type of, the hitbox hits them, even though the hitbox is behind you. Doing the B version really isn't helpful, but doing the C version in the combo actually lets you do in the corner, it lets you do combos that you weren't be able to do. If I can actually hit this. Something like that. You can do crazy combos like that, as you've seen like that. Or you also can do just using the A version. Something like that. You can get crazy things off of the gun blast. For combos, you can just throw your assist in and get a combo off of that, which is really good. So this is kind of good for combos, but this main priority is moving around, crossing up your opponent as it goes through your opponent, and getting in and away. This move makes everything safe. If you wanted to, if they end up blocking everything, you can use it to get out of there as you make everything safe, or if you wanted to, you can end up actually crossing them up. And if you do at the right timing, you'll be able to cross them up, which is a really good tool in this game, as cross-ups are not easy to come by, as most characters can't cross up as easy as most characters. Now we're going to end off with her distortions, as we're finally going into her moves. Her forward quarter circle forward BC is her first distortion. She does this little spin and does pretty good damage. This is one of her more damaging moves. This move is really good for getting in, and it's pretty safe. There are tricks to counter this, as if you do push block this, it'll leave her right in front of you. But if you don't, then it makes it more safe. So we send the dummy to block and push block after the first hit. We'll see where I land. I land right in front of her right after she push blocked me, and I am kind of screwed. So just mind the fact how much bar they have, just in case you don't get hit by the push block. This also is projectile invulnerable, so if you get hit by a projectile, let's just have Blake as you see, it is projectile invincible. So if any projectile comes at you, you are just gonna blow through it, no matter what type of projectile it is. As long as it's identified as a projectile, you'll be able to go through it. This is more her get in tool. Her cortical back BC is her other one, which is more for happy birthdays, where you catch an opponent assist in a combo, or for ending off combos, that it is one of the more easier ones to hit, as it has more of a vertical and horizontal range, other than this one, which just has a forward range. This move is also really good in Resonance Blaze, as you have a lot of tick damage you can use. So if you have a level 4 Resonance Blaze and you use this, they're not blocking. This has crazy tick damage. Doing this 2-3 times will leave them dead just for one hit. As you see, doing one more time will leave them dead, or just even doing a combo, or doing something like I said before, this, they're gonna be dead. So this is really good for tick damage if you wanted to, or just catching your opponent's assist in happy birthday, as this actually has a targeting system when you do this version, and you can only hit one person. Her astral is pretty cool too. They brought it off from the first episode of the show. They could have made it a little more flashier, but and there you go. Those are all Ruby's moves. Now we're going to go over how to play her. Ruby is more of, I wouldn't say an anchor, because there's not really anchors in this game, but she's really reliant. She doesn't need to rely on anyone, as she can do combos on her own. As in Resonance Blaze, you can do combos that end You can do quick combo like that. I did half her health by herself. You can hit her with a low. You can do many corner combos without anyone. She has a teleport that can get in. She has a pretty good overhead. She has lots of projectiles. She's just a really good character overall. She can get in. She's amazing in neutral. She's amazing in combos. She's amazing in ranging. That's one of her weaker spots, but still, she has a pretty good projectile. And if she wants, you can mount it if you roll game to projectile. She has a really good DP. I have to go over. This is one of her weaker traits, but it does multi-hitting. It's a multi-hitting, so it's good on that department. And she's just a really good character overall, as she doesn't need to rely on anyone. And plus, if you have her as an anchor, like I told you before, her assists aren't bad either, as she has a pretty quick projectile assist, a really good recomboing assist, and an assist that lets her combo into herself. As you see right there, she's amazing. She's an amazing person to have as your last resort if you need to come back. She's just a really good character overall. The play Ruby is just however you want to. If you want to range out your opponent, you can do that, and if they try to get in, you can usually BlazBlue blast, knock them away. If you just want to be a rush down character, you can do something like that, get in and do something crazy. You can throw the BlazBlue blast in and go in. You can do a bunch of cross-ups. If you want to pressure your opponent, you can do that too. Actually has pretty long normals and a lot of pretty good mix-ups you can do with the pedal blast. She's just an amazing character overall. I don't know how to say how to directly play her, as she can just be played in any direction you want her to be. If you just want to play her as her anchor and just have one character die and you just play her, you can do that, as her and Resonance Blaze is probably where she could be the strongest. As she just take damage, she can do combos that end in her distortions really easily. She can do lots of combos by herself that don't rely on teammates, which is amazing. A lot of characters can't do that. Something like Yang, who relies a lot on assist, they get her in, as she doesn't have a lot of projectiles and ways to get in safely. Or something like Blake, who's more better in the mid ground. Ruby can just do all of that. She has a good projectile, she has good mid range, and she just has good get in tools, everything. Other than that, there's nothing more to talk about Ruby. If you just want to play her, pick her up. She's a really good beginner character. She's really good in tournament play. If you watch her, she's not in every team, but she's in a lot of teams. She just can be played in any type of role you need her to. If you want to play a projectile team, play a projectile, play with Ruby. And she just has more tools than a projectile character. Without further ado, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and ask who you want to see next. I'm obviously going to do the Ruby characters next, but if you just want a specific Ruby character, who do you want me to play next? I'll probably do the in-birth characters, because those are the people I play the most. And then I'll go into BlazBlue, and then I'll go into Persona, because Persona characters kind of more the tricky ones, as they have personas to keep track of, and their movesets are a little harder, and their combos and stuff are a little harder. But I'll see you guys later. Button Freak out.